And we are here today because of this person, Dr. Myron Wentz. His dream of freeing the world from pain and suffering and disease is still with us, is still being carried on today through our products. He is a microbiologist with a major in immunology. So our founder is a scientist by profession. So of course, as a scientist, the priority of formulation will always be the science. So that's why it's very important for us to know that our founder is a scientist, and his dream is centered around freeing the world from pain, suffering, and disease. And of course, USANA is a global nutritional leader. So we are present in more than 24 markets worldwide, and we are publicly traded in the New York Stock Exchange. This is one of the biggest stock markets in the United States and in the world. And we have more than 560,000 active distributors and preferred customers worldwide. And of course, USANA is recognized as and awarded as top-rated direct selling brand by consumerlab.com. This company is a leading provider of independent test results and information. Here in USANA, we're one of the few companies that actually manufacture our own products. So our manufacturing firm is located in Salt Lake City, Utah. You can find on the screen there, that is the picture of our manufacturing firm. It's a state-of-the-art facility wherein our nutritionals are being manufactured there with the highest quality products. And of course, we have intelligence technology. This is not only for a single product or a product line, it is a platform for creating products that support cellular health through a natural process called cell signaling. So ano po tong cell signaling? This cell signaling is a process by which your cells communicate with one another. And for our body to be optimal, no, for our body to function optimally, our cells need to communicate optimally so that it is able to perform cellular responses in a timely manner. So we want that to happen. And with intelligence technology, this improves the cellular communication pathways between the cells. Now, not only has intelligence technology helped us ordinary people today, but it has also helped supply our athletes with the needed nutritionals they need to be at their very best. And on top of that picture there, you have Miss Heidelin Diaz, the gold medalist, the gold medal champion, weightlifting champion, Heidelin Diaz. One of the one of the many athletes that we have that actually use USANA. And of course, we have here the core values, the 4 core values of USANA: excellence, integrity, health, and of course, community, which is best exemplified by our USANA Foundation. So the foundation has completed over hundreds of projects worldwide in its initiative to end malnutrition for good. And of course, one of the key focuses of the USANA Foundation is providing nourishment. So providing food aid and essential nutritions, equipping resources for long-term successes, and of course, solving problems through locally driven, sustainable solutions. And of course, here in USANA, we not only aim to have the healthiest individuals, but to have the healthiest family on earth. And we do that one by the 4 steps, or the 4 actions to health. So the first action to health on your screen that you could find there is eating right. So this is one of the most important aspects with regards to our health. Our health is determinant on the health of ourselves, which is the most basic unit of life. So whatever we eat, kung ano yung kinakain natin, it will be the source of nutrition for our cells. Again, whatever we eat, kung anong kinakain natin, it will be the source of nutrition of our cells. So what we're eating is what our cells will use for our body. So we have to eat right. And when we say we need to eat right, we have to look at it. We have to have a balanced diet. So it's very basic. No, we learned this in elementary. We have the go, grow, and glow. So we, as much as possible, we have to keep a balanced diet. So we have to do away with food na masyadong mataas yung sugar, na mataas yung cholesterol, because these are very detrimental to our health and eventually to the health of our cells. So when we're eating too much food rich in sugar, no, tataas yung blood glucose levels natin. And when our blood glucose are very high for a prolonged period of time, no, araw-araw kang nag-ice cream, araw-araw kang nagki-cake, it will cause an increase in blood glucose levels, and araw-araw yun. And what happens there is you will eventually develop a disease called diabetes mellitus. And it's one of the things that we don't want to happen. We want to keep our body healthy, and having a disease is not keeping our body healthy. And aside from that one, we have too much intake of fatty food, which can also increase your blood cholesterol levels. And we don't want that to happen. Bakit? Kasi too much intake of fatty food, no, what will happen there is it will start to deposit into your arteries and eventually to your heart. And this condition is called atherosclerosis. Anong mangyayari pag masyadong maraming fats sa arteries natin? Of course, blood flow to the various organs, hindi na kumpleto yung supply na blood na matatanggap ng organs natin, and we don't want that to happen again. So we need to eat right. So I'm not saying that we have to eliminate all the sugary foods or all the fatty foods that we have. We simply have to control our intake on them. So balanced diet. There are times that we will need fats in our body. There are times that we will need sugar in our body, but not too much. So that's why we have to balance our diet in order for our cells to have the optimal nutrients it needs for us to be healthy. And secondly, the second action to health there on your screen is on active lifestyle. Now, in active lifestyle, this is very, very simple. You simply have to do away with sedentary lifestyle. So may tatanong nyo naman, what is sedentary lifestyle? Ito po yung palagi ka lang nakaupo or nakahiga when you're doing nothing. So in that sense po, your inactivity is actually equivalent to that of the sedentary lifestyle. And we want to eliminate that one when we want to have an active lifestyle. We want to be continually on the go. So when you're not doing anything, you might as well do activity that will keep yourself active. So in that sense, you could actually move around the house, clean your house probably, do gardening, or walk around the yard. These are actually small steps to keep an active lifestyle. And secondly, you could actually do exercise. So in exercising, you're doing active lifestyle also. Now, when you exercise, you don't actually go for the strenuous exercise immediately. If you're still a beginner, you have to start first with the basic mild to moderate exercises. You don't immediately run for a marathon. That would be detrimental to your body's health. So you have to train first, and of course, gradually increase the physical strain in your body in order for you to make it into a marathon. So in that sense, you are able to allow your body or give your body a time to adapt so that you are able to adapt to the rigorous exercises that you are actually going into. And of course, the third action to health is on minimizing stress. Now, in minimizing stress, this is something that all of us will have to do, no matter no matter what we do, no matter where we are. Stress is always inevitable. Nandyan lang yung stress, hindi yan mawawala. Now, little stress could actually help us accomplish goals or complete tasks. However, pag masyado namang marami yung stress or heavy na yung stress atin, this will actually give you the general feeling of being sick, no? Para kang na-overwhelmed. And actually, that is because of the stress hormone that is produced by the body. So when you are too stressed, your body produces a hormone called cortisol. So ano po tong cortisol? Cortisol is a substance na pinoproduce ng katawan mo pag you are feeling stressed. And when cortisol levels in your body start to increase, this will actually manifest physiologically wherein you start to get the feeling of being sick. So para kang magkakasakit na. It's actually because cortisol affects your immune system. Your cortisol, once it reaches a certain concentration sa body natin, it will lower your immune system, making us now very susceptible to diseases, no? From foreign invaders, yung mga bacterial, fungal infections, viruses. So we don't want that to happen. Secondly, aside from cortisol levels affecting your immune system, this could actually also affect your blood pressure. Your blood pressure will start to rise, and of course, you will get that general feeling na naninikip na yung sa likod ng leeg nyo. So that's actually one of the physiological effects of cortisol. And lastly, my least favorite no na effect ng stress is it affects our cognitive ability. It makes us forget things. It makes us difficult to understand and to learn if we are too stressed out. And that's why we need to manage or we need to minimize the stress. How? First is you could actually do concentrated meditation. In concentrated meditation kasi, it's very simple. It will take 15 to 30 minutes of your time, no? Middle of the day or end of the day, you just have to find time to do deep breathing exercise, and in doing so, you're able to lower down your cortisol levels. Secondly, is you could actually do exercise. So you hit two birds with one stone. Pwede ka ng mag-active lifestyle which affects your physical health. Pwede ka ring mag-minimize ng stress which affects your mental and your emotional health. So you hit two birds with one stone when you are exercising. So when you exercise, the continuous blood flow will actually lower down the cortisol levels in your blood, thereby giving your body the chance to recover from that stress. So that's why it's very important for us to maintain an active lifestyle, not only for but also for minimizing stress. And lastly, if the first two don't work, you could actually consult your mental health care professionals. So with their help, you could actually manage the stress in your life. They will help you manage the stress in your life. So that's why it's very important. If di kaya ng first two suggestions, there's always the third option to ask for help from a professional. So that's the first three actions to health: eat right, active lifestyle, and minimizing stress. And the last one is through supplementation. And of course, for those who are skeptical, no, those who are very, very doubtful, we will always ask the question, why do I need supplements? For one, I'm eating right. Secondly, I'm exercising. And third, minamanage ko naman yung stress ko. So why do I need supplementation? Well, you have to understand that when you're eating right, not all the nutrients from the food that you eat will actually get absorbed in the body. You have to understand that when you are preparing food, when you're cooking food, it's actually a chemical process. And in that particular process, there's a possibility that you might have destroyed some essential nutrients or vitamins while you are preparing the food. For example, most of us are fond of eating tomato-based cuisines. You have spaghetti, no? Wherein we add uh, tomato-based products. So tomato contains a very important antioxidant that we call lycopene. So lycopene, however, when you heat it to 100 degrees Celsius, becomes destroyed, and the lycopene that your body is supposed to take in will no longer be enough. The same goes for vitamin C. With vitamin C, when there is too much temperature involved, this actually degrades the presence or degrades vitamin C into an unusable form. So that's why it's very important for us to remember that supplementation is one of the key ways by which we're able to supplement what our body needs. Particularly, we have our nutritionals. Now, our nutritionals is not, the term nutritionals is actually not something new. It's actually something that has been going on for quite some time. So, in the 1960s, there were several discoveries on 50 essential vitamins, minerals, um, antioxidants, cofactors, and essential amino acids. And together with their identification is identifying also the amount that we need to take for our daily usage. And today we know that one as the recommended daily allowance. And fast forward today, that is still applicable for us today. However, scientists are actually looking into nutritionals as a possible component of a healthy diet. So that's why it's very important for us to always be open when it comes to nutritionals, because not everything we get from our food is actually may not actually be enough. So that's why we have to that's why we have the nutritionals to supplement our needs. And of course, we have our cell essentials. Our cell essentials are actually the flagship product of the company. So our Cell Essentials is able to deliver a broad spectrum of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and additional nutrients for comprehensive support of your long-term health. So this is actually a good foundation for our health. So these, aside from that one, um, our company also manufactures what we call optimizers. So these optimizers are what we use for targeted nutrition. So one of the targets for our targeted nutritionals is the cardiovascular health. Now, very important for us to remember that the cardiovascular system is one of the most important organ systems in the body. First, we have to understand what is its purpose. Now, the cardiovascular system consists of the heart, as you can see on the screen in front of you. You have the blood vessels, and of course, what flows inside this particular system is the blood. So the blood vessels in particular, there are three types. You have your capillaries, your veins, and your arteries. And these are very, very important. The arteries are going to bring blood from the heart to the various organs, while the veins, they're going to bring the blood without the oxygen back into the lungs for reoxygenation and going back to the heart. So that's why they are very, very important. The heart, of course, is very important because it works 24/7, irregardless if natutulog ka or if gising ka, or even if you're half awake. The heart will still continue on pumping. It will not stop from the day you were born up until the day it stops beating. That heart will continue on. Okay, so it's very important for us to know the function of the cardiovascular system so that we know how to take care of it. Now, our this particular organ system is very susceptible to diseases. No, we have heart disease, we have high blood pressure. So these are actually diseases that will afflict the cardiovascular system. And to help support the health of the cardiovascular system, we have proflavanol C. This is actually a product that contains grapeseed extract and vitamin C. Now, the grapeseed extract is very important because this is the one responsible for the French paradox. Now, let me tell you something about the French paradox. The French people are very fond of eating red meat, cheese, and butter. So these are very, very fatty foods. And as I mentioned earlier, when we're eating a lot of these fatty foods, they tend to deposit into our blood vessels, into our arteries, and eventually into our heart, causing atherosclerosis and eventually cardiovascular disease. And we don't want that to happen. However, with the French paradox, the French are very fond of eating this type of food. However, they are still maintaining good cardiovascular health because it's actually of the grapeseed extract that's found in the red wine that they take together with their food. That's the cause actually of the French paradox. Now, the grapeseed extract is responsible for preventing the conversion of low density lipoprotein into converting it into the bad cholesterol. Now, the bad cholesterol is the one that gets deposited into the arteries and eventually into the heart, causing the cardiovascular disease. And of course, vitamin C, which is also present in proflavanol C, uh, is necessary for collagen production. Now, what is the importance of collagen? Collagen has actually many types. No, there are different types of collagen, type 1, 2, 3, and 4. But what we're trying to focus here is its importance in the cardiovascular system. Now, it's a vitamin C is a precursor for collagen, and the collagen that it produces is actually found in the lining of the blood vessels and the interior of the heart. Now, it's very important to maintain this particular type of collagen because this one is actually working hand in hand in producing what we call nitric oxide in your endothelial cells. Now, this nitric oxide will allow your blood to flow easily through the blood vessels without any impediment because we want blood flowing regularly. So that's why it's very important for us to remember to keep the blood vessels also healthy, not only the heart. So that's why it's very important for us to maintain the health, help support the health of our cardiovascular health through the grapeseed extract and the vitamin C found in proflavanol C. And aside from that one, we have another product there, which is coquinone 30. With coquinone 30, our body is provided with an additional supply of coenzyme Q10. Now, this coenzyme Q10 is a necessary precursor for producing energy in our body. Now, our body produces naturally an energy currency called ATP or adenosine triphosphate. Ito yung ginagamit natin para makagalaw tayo, for us to actually function. And for ATP to be produced, it requires coenzyme Q10. This particular substance is utilized in the mitochondria, powerhouse of your cell. And when you reach the age of 20, that concentration of coenzyme Q10 is at its highest. Pinakamataas na yan na concentration. But as we reach 21, 22, until we reach 80, it's actually the time where coenzyme Q10 starts to deteriorate. So by the time you reach 80, kulang pa yung half na concentration na meron tayo when we were 20 years old when it comes to coenzyme Q10. So that's why we need to have a supplement for coenzyme Q10 for us to provide ourselves with the materials needed for it to produce energy. And that is through coquinone 30. And of course, we have other important for overall cellular function. Fats are essential to our diet. Yes, you heard that right, no? Kakasabi mo lang kanina, sir, na masama yung too much fat. That's why we are talking here about the right kind of fat. So when we're talking about the right kind of fat, we're talking about the unsaturated fat present in the food. Because the saturated fat is actually what is not healthy. So example of saturated fat is your butter, your cheese, red meat. These are examples of saturated fat. And the unsaturated fat, this is actually a good source of healthy fats. We have avocados, you have nuts, you have seeds, cis fat. These are actually very rich in unsaturated fat, particularly omega-3 fatty acids. Now, the importance of omega-3 fatty acids is it is important for brain development, especially for pregnant women. It also helps support the heart, the brain, the eyes, joint and exercise recoveries. And with Biomega, we have premium quality purified fish oil for that one. So that is the source of omega-3 fatty acid plus vitamin D for a balanced immune response. So that's why we need fats, but we're talking about the healthy kind of fat. And of course, another aspect of cellular function that we need to keep healthy is the immune system. Our immune system needs to be in good condition for it to fight off invaders. So yung mga invaders natin, yung mga bacteria, fungi, viruses, protozoa, yung mga microorganisms. And aside from that one, our immune system is also responsible for keeping us healthy when we are exposed to pollution, unhealthy food, lack of outdoor presence, no, hindi tayo masyado naiinitan, lack of exercise, the presence of free radicals and oxidative stress. So your immune system has a lot in its uh, table to fight off. And that's why we have to support our immune system. So, mind you, no, pag naglalakad ka lang sa labas, no, exposed ka sa environment. So there, particularly if nasa city ka, you're exposed to pollution, you're exposed to free radicals. And of course, your immune system can only do so much. So that's why we need to supplement it with powerful antioxidants. And what we have here is proglucamine. Your proglucamine contains reishi and shiitake mushroom powders. These are very, very powerful antioxidants. Together with that one, we have a unique strain of baker's yeast, which together with the mushroom powders, they will form intelligence beta-glucan complex. And this will help support robust immune response and of course maintain overall wellness. So that's why it's very important for us to remember exposure to pollution, free radicals, we need antioxidants and we need uh, very powerful ones at that. And aside from that one, we have the third product to your right is Poly C. So Poly C is an antioxidant. It's actually ascorbic acid. However, it is different from the rest of the ascorbic acids in the market. It's a combination of calcium, potassium, magnesium, and zinc mineral ascorbates. So these are mineral salts. Now, what's the significance of having these mineral salts in the form of ascorbates for our vitamin C? Now, these, when you are having mineral salts as a formulation, your product becomes non-acidic. So you could actually, this will actually not give you a stomach upset if you're taking this one. So what we also need to remember is that uh, vitamin C is not only an antioxidant, it has several functions in our body. It could actually help with collagen production again, not only for your cardiovascular system, but also for your skin. Aside from that one, it's also important for eye health. And of course, it's very important, particularly in our cardiovascular system, for the support of the use of iron. Because iron in our body is absorbed through the red blood cells in the form of hemoglobin. So sa isang RBC, meron tayong 4 meron tayong iron dyan. And in the presence of vitamin C, we are actually improving the hemoglobin's ability to absorb oxygen into the red blood cells. Thereby, mas dinideliver niya maraming oxygen towards your organs, which is what we want to maintain a healthy body. Now, aside from that one, we also have to take charge of our health, of our digestive tract. So one of the most memorable things, no, pre uh, pre-COVID-19 events, no, is when we are gathering together with our family and friends. And when we're gathering together, no, it's always involving food and drinks. No, it's one of the best pleasures in life pre-COVID-19. And when what we take as food and drinks, no, it goes down to our digestive tract. And everything we eat, everything we take, drink, be it food, drinks, alcohol, medications, everything goes through the liver. So the liver acts as a filter for our body. It's the second largest organ. uh, the first is the skin, the second is the liver. So it's the second largest organ, and it has a lot of functions. One of the many functions is producing enzymes for digestion, metabolism, and of course, detoxification. And when your liver is exposed to various food, particularly unhealthy food, alcohol, it can stress out the liver. So it will be exposed to free radicals and oxidative stress. And we know what happens to our cells when they're exposed to such conditions. So for us to help support the health of our liver, we have Hepasil DTX. So it will provide antioxidants, particularly silymarin and choline, which will protect the liver cells from damaging oxidative stress. And of course, it can help support normal metabolic processes like the removal of toxins and waste products. So that's why it's very important for us to remember not to take our liver for granted. And we have to, again, no, there's always the relationship of what we take into our body, particularly the food. Now, aside from that one, no, when we start eating no food, is digestion starts in the mouth, and it goes down to the digestive tract, wherein it's broken down, wherein food is broken down to nutrients, and then when it goes to the intestines, it's actually the home of trillions of microorganisms, no, trillions of bacteria that we call the microflora. And then you might be asking, my bacteria. So this is actually not the infectious type of bacteria. This is the microflora, the good bacteria. So we benefit actually from this good bacteria present in our digestive tract. They produce vitamin K and biotin. No, so the digestion process allows us to break down the food essential for us and we absorb it in our bloodstream. But for these microorganisms, no, the byproducts of that digestion is what they use. So there's a mutual benefit for us and the microorganisms that are actually residing in our digestive tract. So that's why we have to take care of them. And aside from that one, these microorganisms are actually responsible also for removing toxins, waste that normal through normal passage of stool in the colon. So that's why we have to maintain a balanced GI microflora, because our GI microflora is very sensitive. No, when we are stressed out, it will actually affect the number of microflora in our GIT. When we are taking in poor diet, pag masyado tayong kumakain ng sweets, wala silang masyadong nakukuhang nutrients for them to survive. And the same goes for us. Pag hindi tayo hydration, when we're not drinking enough amounts of water, at least 8 glasses of water a day, it can also help destroy the microflora present in our GI tract. And of course, the lack of sleep. No, kailangan nating matulog ng at least 8 hours a day so that we maintain the balance of the microflora present in our GI tract. Now, there are several problems that you will actually experience when your microflora is not balanced in the GI tract. No, so that's why we have USANA probiotic. This will help increase the microflora by taking USANA probiotic. So this will increase the number of microorganisms present in our gut, and of course it will create an ideal environment for them to flourish. So it benefits us and it also benefits them. It promotes good digestion, and of course it helps maintain digestive comfort and regularity. So that's why it's very important for us to maintain or take charge of our health when it comes to digestion. And very important also is the health of our bones and joints. Now, the bones and joints are one of the parts of the skeletal system. The skeletal system's function is mainly on structure. Now, it allows us to stand up or stand erect. Protection, it protects our internal organs, particularly our brain. Our sternum protects the heart and the other internal organs. And of course, it's also the site of red blood cell production. And together with the muscular system, it's responsible for our movement. So our body develops the skeleton up until we reach the age of 25 years old. So once we reach 25 years old, that's already a fully developed skeleton. Hindi ka na tatangkad, hindi ka na rin liliit. So that's your height for that particular age. And very essential for a fully developed skeleton are 3 essential vitamins and minerals: calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. Your magnesium, it also activates enzyme reactions. No, they are in the form of stored magnesium in the body. Your calcium is found 99% in the bone and 1% only in blood. And your vitamin D is activated when you are irradiated sa ilalim ng araw. So vitamin D does not come from the sun. It's actually found or located on the surface of your skin, but in active form. But once you are under the sun, no, nai-expose yan ng UV rays, it will be activated in a very, it will be active, it will be formed into an activated form of vitamin D. So these are very essential for bone development. And we have to maintain the presence of these three in our bones. What happens when we don't maintain enough calcium, magnesium, or vitamin D in our bones? This can help, or this will develop to osteopenia, or the weakening of the bones. And eventually, this will cause problems like osteoporosis, osteomalacia, scoliosis. So these are very, very painful bone problems, and we don't want that to happen in our body. We have uh, the importance of calcium is should be reiterated, because without calcium, there is very, very little chance of producing uh, bone inside your body. So bone starts to be produced when your calcium binds with osteoprogenitor cells. They bind together, and when they bind together, they form now the matrix of your bones. And that is what is happening for the past 25 years. And that stops when you reach the age of 25. Now, what conditions wherein your calcium actually becomes very, very low? Number one, it's actually with your diet, particularly when you're drinking too much soda. So, ano po ang meron sa soda? Soda, or soft drinks as we commonly call it here in the Philippines, is something that contains uh, it's actually a caffeine based products, but it also contains something else. It contains phosphates, which actually bind to the calcium in your body. And when they bind together with the calcium in your body, they are easily eliminated. So madali silang nai-eliminate sa katawan. And when you drink too much soda, a lot of that calcium binds to the phosphates in soda. Pag naihi mo na yan, bababa na yung calcium mo. And what happens when calcium is very, very low in your body? For one, it could affect your cardiovascular health, because calcium, the 1% calcium in your blood is actually for the contractility of your heart. Secondly, it will cause now porous bones or brittle bones. Yung bones mo, yung osteoprogenitor cells mo, which were supposed to bind with calcium to form a hard bone, is no longer present. So that becomes detrimental to your health. That's why it's very important for us, again, to remind you to minimize on, or to go for a healthy diet. And one of which is to minimize the presence of soda. Now, aside from that one, we can supplement calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D through Magnical D. So this can help support mineral-rich bones and teeth. And of course, this can also support muscle and nerve function, and aside from that one, cardiovascular health. So that's for Magnical D. Another important organ that important connective tissue that we need to tackle is the joints. Now, the joints allow movement with the bones, preventing them from coming into contact with one another. So the joints there, their particular job is to prevent the bones from coming into contact. So pag nangyari kasi yan, bone to bone, it's going to be a very, very painful experience. And one of the things that you have there in the structure of the joints is the cartilage. Now the cartilage, once it's gone, it's bye-bye. It cannot be reproduced again. So that's why we have to take care of these joints. We also have the tendons. No, these are also connective tissues between the bones. No, an example of that one is your Achilles tendon. This particular tissue, however, can be repaired. However, once damaged and repaired, it can no longer go back to its optimal condition. So that's why we have to take care of the joints. And how do we take care of the joints? Again, we could actually, we have glucosamine, which is naturally produced in our body. However, the amount of glucosamine that our joints need may not be enough from our natural source, from our body producing it. So we have to supplement. Or you could actually take in the diet. However, with the diet, it comes from seafood, which is quite expensive. And at the same time, not all of us are actually compatible with seafood. Some of us are allergic to seafood. So better yet, go for supplementation. And in that way, no, we have Procosa. This is glucosamine. And of course, this is a precursor for collagen and hyaluronic acid. These two are actually necessary to maintain healthy joints. Particularly, your hyaluronic acid plays a very important role in producing synovial fluid. Ito po yung fluid na lubricant that prevents the bones from coming into contact with each other. So without this particular substance, um, it will cause damage to your joints. And aside from that one, it's actually very painful when you don't have lubricant or your cartilage is already destroyed. So that's why we have to maintain the health of our bones and our joints. And we have here, uh, we have to take charge also of the health of our eyes. Now, the eyes are the windows of the soul. Now, it allows us to navigate through the area that we are in right now. It allows us to see the screen in front of you. And on the screen in front of you, no, is actually the product Vision X. Very important to remember with Vision X is it has lutein, zeaxanthin, vitamin C, and zinc. Rarely can you find these products in one formulation. So researching it through the market, probably there are products, but you cannot take the four in one formulation. And very important to remember with lutein and zeaxanthin in the formulation is its ability to filter blue light. Now, what is this blue light? Blue light is actually an energy coming from the sun. So the sun uh, has an electromagnetic spectrum for its energy. You know, the highest is gamma radiation, and the weakest is radio waves. And somewhere in between is you have visible light, and beside visible light is UV light. And in between them is blue light. That particular blue light is a free radical that could actually cause oxidation. And to prevent that one from causing oxidative stress and free radical damage to the cells, we have lutein and zeaxanthin to help support the health of our eyes as antioxidants. And of course, we have our excuse me. We also have to take charge of the health of our endocrine system, particularly our endocrine health. So in endocrine health, we have Palmetto Plus there. We are trying to take care of our prostate. Now, the ingredients of or the contents of Palmetto Plus is saw palmetto, lycopene, and soy isoflavones. Now, these three are very important in maintaining the health of your prostate. Now, the prostate is an organ that is exclusively found in men. So, for Palmetto Plus, this particular product is only for men. Again, for Palmetto Plus, this product is only for men. Now, these three ingredients are potent antioxidants, which will help support the health of the prostate. As we age, the prostate will start to enlarge, and we don't want that to happen. Because once it starts to enlarge, it could block the passage of urine from your bladder into your ureter. So that will prevent you from having regular urination. And we have to maintain the size of the prostate also. So to prevent it from enlarging and to help support the health of the prostate, we have our Palmetto Plus product. And of course, at the bottom of the screen there, we have Pure Rest. Very important for us to remember is that we have a natural sleep and awake cycle. And we as human beings are designed to sleep between the time of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So that's 8 hours of regular sleep. Now, during sleep, there are three stages that happens: pre-REM sleep, REM sleep, and then post REM sleep. And very important for us to remember is during REM, the middle stage of sleep, it's when we produce new red blood cells. And for us to be able to produce red blood cells, that particular REM sleep needs to happen between 12 midnight up until 3 a.m. So that's the optimal time for you to produce red blood cells. You have to be asleep at that time for your body to naturally produce RBCs. If you're awake, then you don't produce new RBCs. That means the old RBCs are the ones found in your blood and eventually will deteriorate and die. So what's left there is an increase in white blood cells, and it's an imbalance. So what we have here is to help with the natural sleep and awake cycle, we have pure rest. Pure rest adds melatonin. Now, melatonin is a substance that our body produces when we are sleepy, and when our body is not producing enough melatonin, this will screw up our sleep awake cycle. So, in order for us to have a more normal sleep and awake cycle, we have pure rest. This will add more to the natural melatonin that is produced by the body to help us support a more natural sleep and awake cycle. And of course, we have use animals. Now, the use animals that we have are actually formulated for children ages 2 to 12. So these are for ages 2 to 12. The products mentioned earlier are for adults 18 onwards. Now, for use animals, this is actually a rich combination of B vitamins for brain development. It also contains magnesium, calcium, and vitamin D for the dosage of children to support strong bones and teeth. And of course, it contains iron, thiamine, and B12 for energy production, and antioxidant phytonutrient complex as a rich source of antioxidants. So USANA aims to have the healthiest family on earth. So it's good for adults, and we have USANimals for the children. Now you might be asking, sir, how about for the teens, no? Yung mga 13-year-old natin up until 17. So these are actually, you could actually adjust the dosage of USANimals that could fit for the teenagers. So that's how USANA takes care of the whole family. Now, aside from that one, we also have products that are for diet and energy. And very important to remember is that we have meal replacement shakes, and that is our Nutri-Meal. It comes in three different flavors. We have wild strawberry, French vanilla, and Dutch chocolate. No, personally, my favorite is wild strawberry kasi yun pa lang yung natitikman ko. And so far, I've found this particular meal replacement very optimal for me. Now, it's not too sweet because it has low glycemic index. And of course, we have our USANA whitening toothpaste. This one is a fluoride-free toothpaste, which is actually good for us because when we expose our teeth to too much fluoride, this can cause a condition called dental fluorosis, which will actually damage your teeth in the long run. So that's why it's very important for us to have a fluoride-free toothpaste. And aside from that one, this contains ADP1. It's a probiotic that can help eliminate the substances or compounds that give you bad breath and give your teeth a dull appearance. So this is actually good for oral health. And of course, we have our USANA Celavive products. We have our Scrub Plus Mask, exfoliating Scrub Plus Mask that removes excessive oil and dirt and gives your skin a fair complexion. And of course, recently launched, we have our USANA Celavive Brightening Series. Before you actually use any of the Brightening Series products, log into askthescientist.com in order for you to know the type of skin that you have before you could actually use the products. And of course, here in USANA, we are different from the rest of the products that are in the market today. For one, our ingredients are specially formulated, science-based and balanced formulas. And of course, it's done by an accredited team of scientific experts, our in-house scientists, all the way from Salt Lake City, Utah. And of course, the main focus of USANA is always on the health of your cells. And that is it for our Take Charge of Your Health. This happens every Friday. I am Jace Nocete, one of the corporate pharmacists of USANA. For emails or queries or asking for recordings on this training, you may email me, jace.nocete@usanainc.com, or you may contact the other pharmacists, Mariel Perile and Nina Dia Cordon, for Makati and Davao respectively. Thank you for attending our training this Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. It's going to be a long weekend. It's a holiday on Monday. So keep safe, everyone. Thank you again. I hope to see you again. Bye.